Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Force here. It is time once more for some StarCraft 2 commentary. Today we'll be watching a game between Gosu DDE and Kelsen. We are on the map Antigua Shipyard yet again. I feel like I commentate way too much on this map. Spawning in the upper right hand spawn position, we have got Kelsen as our purple Protoss player. Kelsen is currently the rank number 12 master in his division. In the region, he is ranked 786, and that is going to be on the US ladder. Currently having 67 wins and 61 losses, he has got a 52.34% win ratio. His opponent down over here in the lower left-hand position is Gosu DDE, our blue Terran player. The rank 3 Grand Master on the US ladder with 135 wins and 30 losses, giving him an 81.82% win ratio. Very impressive record this season here from Gosu DDE. Clearly the stronger, in terms of ladder showing, clearly the stronger of the two players. But you never know, guys. As I say, any given day of StarCraft, you never know what's going to happen. And we'll have to see what happens this game. Kelsen dropping the gateway, now making his way across the map. I swear I commentate so many games on this map. I need to find games on something other than Antigua Shipyard. Not that it's a bad map. I don't necessarily not enjoy it, but I think there's definitely much more interesting maps to look at and to commentate on, and most certainly to play on. Kelsen, after dropping his gateway, has got a simulator coming through and is now scouting out cross-positional. This game is going to be infinitely easier for me to commentate than the last game. If you saw the last game that I commentated, it was that 8-person free-for-all. A good majority of which were actually pro players as well. That was crazy intense, and compared to that, 1v1s are pretty much cakewalks. Alright, so we got the racks over here in the corner, and let's keep an eye into what DDE is going to do with that. Now, it could be for early pressure, or he could just be simply trying to hide it, and that's what he's going to be doing. He's going to be trying to hide the fact that he's going Fast Tech Lab, because with Fast Tech Lab, he's coming out with a Quick Reaper, and he wants his opponent to find that out as late as possible. There you go, Kelsen finally scouting that. But again, you can see he would have scouted that much earlier if Arax was in a normal position, being somewhere either around here or up here at that front wall off. So Kelsen realizing that a little bit later than he would otherwise, that's going to allow that Reaper to get there and do a bit of damage. And unfortunately for Kelsen, really not a lot that he can do about that. He's actually just chilling out here with this probe, not even going to try to hide it. If I were Kelsen at this point in the game, I would actually try to chill that out over here, because even if the Reaper attempts to chase you down, at least he's not in your base and you're buying yourself time. But he could also, he wants to know, alright, are these Marauders or is this a Reaper? It's pretty clearly a Reaper though. If you were going Marauders, you would not be building Marauders this far back in your base. Like, how would that benefit you whatsoever? It wouldn't. The Reaper comes out, now it is confirmed, although Kelsen could have assumed that. At least now he is 100% sure of it. He's going to be all set though, Chrono boosting out that first Stalker. Reaper is pretty much going to do no damage besides that one probe that he has already killed. Nice pylon placement down here as well, so that he can get some scouting in the corner of his map. And besides that, we got the Stalker. Yeah, he is amply prepared. DDE will not be doing any damage with that whatsoever. And I can't believe I missed this. Engineering Bay getting placed at the natural expansion will be severely delaying Kelsen from expoing. And this is really funny because it's not like Kelsen can use the Stalker now to kill that off, because he is occupied at the moment with preventing this Reaper from doing any damage. You can see DDE hasn't even bothered pushing in. He's just kind of chilling out now at the moment. So we have the one Stalker over here. This Stalker is still maintaining patrol, and he's gonna try. Yeah, he's gonna try to sneak up right now. Now that the Stalker's a little occupied with that engineering bay, this Stalker's all the way in the corner of the map, and we have a sentry coming out. But here we go, as an opportunity to do some damage. You know, I take back my statement from before. I really thought there was no chance DD would have done any damage with us, but he was able to kill off another worker. Unfortunately, though, getting sandwiched by the two Stalkers, Kelsen is able to kill him off and head on over to that engineering bay. All the while, DDE expanding himself. That whole charade was just buying himself time for his expansion. Gotta love it. Marine Marauder coming out. Stimpack Research also coming out through another racks over here for DDE as well. He is on just the one refinery. Has that fully saturated with those 3 workers. And now we're going to saturate that natural expansion. That was really, really nice there. Engineering Bay plus the Reaper really delayed Kelsen's expansion. Really kept him occupied. And now DDE has got an expo up. The orbital command is finished. And now he gets to mining. Like those types of diversion tactics and that type of early game harass for you guys watching at home can be very effective as long as you can maintain your macro and still do what DDE did here and coming out with an expo and also coming out with these additional racks and getting these refineries and just teching up, maintaining a strong macro, getting your economy up. all of that while harassing, go for it. You know what I mean? It's not going to hurt you. The problem is that when people try to harass early on, but at the same time they do nothing back at home, that's when it actually does more harm to you than it does good, because you'll end up doing less damage to your opponent than you will to yourself. DDE scouting the high ground over here. Probably looking for any probes that may try to sneak on in and drop some pylons up here or anything like that. That's not very likely, though. I'm not sure exactly. I'm assuming he's just checking for secondary scouting. I would like him to hug that edge at least, though. I think that would be pretty wise. Let him see a little bit further there with that, if any small pushes or anything like that's coming. DDE also going to depot there in front of his bunker. If he does see any pushes, this is going to prevent those zealots from being as effective, because they're going to have to wrap around that depot before they can get us around over there. Also going to be seeing a missile turret to stop any possible observer scouts from moving on through. Observer here for Kelsen is actually, there we go. I was like, what are you doing with that observer? Yeah, observer will want to, of course, head down over to his opponent. Now, this is where you're going to see most Terran players place the missile turret early on to stop observer scouts. This is also going to help you deal with the possibility of early DT. So it's kind of dual purpose. If you put this in front of your natural expansion, if DT try to come in, you're going to spot them. But also observers, the position that is most taken from observers, if a player gets his observer, the thing that he most often does is firstly checks that natural expansion. So if you can get a turret up there and catch the Protoss player not paying attention to his observer as it passes over, plus your Marines underneath it, you can actually get that free kill there from that observer. So he's going to be firstly moving into the main, though, and checking the production facilities. We do have double medevac coming out. Looks like stim pack is all finished. Combat shield coming through. We'll also have that tech lab coming on out. Now medevacs will be moving forward with the rest of this army, and it looks like that is something that Kelsen has spotted here. He had the tower, was able to see that coming, stimmed up Marauder, gets that free probe kill, but here comes the push. Marine, Marauder, medevac. Observer sees everything here. He knows what's up. DDE. Again, finished impact, combat shield almost done. Scan as he spots the observer, takes it out. We got a factory scout moving on in, and that'll be checking that third. And now he's prepared to drop into the main. We have got some stalkers defending in that position. Nothing back here, though. Uh-oh, just be careful. Stalkers pulling on into maybe a more advantageous position. Yeah, right around here. That way you can, I mean, you really just have to protect that resource line. If he drops over here, he shouldn't be able to kill off a gateway before you're able to respond. And there he is. Tries to snipe down a medevac. That pulls back in time, though. Marauder checking the front here for Kelsen. Kelsen got a nice spread over here, preparing to drop force fields if he gets pushed from the front. Unfortunately, DDE unable to do any damage in that attack, so he's going to have to be careful right now, as Kelsen's actually moving out across the map. He's going to be killing off these units. Oh no, they're just stimming back to safety. More medevacs and stuff streaming across the map, more and more. At the same time, DDE coming out with a third factory scouting if an expansion is coming down over here. And DDE still just sitting tight here outside of Kelsen's main base and natural expansion. Kelsen again spreading out his units, trying to make sure that he can defend against any possible drops wherever they may come from. We do have those 4 medevacs in play, 2 more coming through in production as well. Also working his way up into an armory that'll allow him to continue up upgrades after that level 1 is finished. He's got level 1 weapons done, level 1 armor is also coming on through. Kelsen really needs to be careful, make sure he can defend himself. But again, it's just so threatening with the medevacs in play as well, because he can hit from anywhere. Vision of the high ground lets DDE snipe out that pylon, obstructing the vision there from Kelsen, as he can no longer see behind that smoke screen. Something he wants to probably get vision back of. Trying to push up the front, force field wall prevents that from happening. Kelsen will be delaying this expansion here. He's got enough energy to keep that up as well there on those sentries. But DDE, once more, like we saw that initial early game diversion tactic with the Reaper and the engineering bay at the expansion, he's doing the same thing here. By having a threat there out front of Kelsen's base, he is keeping him occupied and diverting the attention from the fact that DDE has got an expansion up right now. So DDE doing very, very well in the early game. Attempted push there, gets force field walled. A few more bio units make it up into the main. However, he is met by Colossus, and that is going to be enough finally to force DDE back. He can no longer have this threat outside of the base, and oh, Ghost Academy coming out, making that transition right now. Be able to drop some EMPs and all of that with that armory. Now finally able to come out with those level 2 weapons upgrades, continuing up that bio push. Might even see another 2 medevacs sometime soon as well. He's actually, no, he just had more. Yeah, he's got 6 in play right now, making that transition to Vikings. I'm sorry, of course I knew that was happening. He spotted Colossus, so he will be making that transition into Vikings. Plus he's got 8 medevacs at the moment, so that'll keep him content in terms of healing power. He's still outside of Kelsen's base, and most importantly, too, he's still delaying this 3rd base here. Kelsen's still just on the 2. He has got a level 1 upgrades now finally coming through. Pushing out, though, as he is comfortable right now with those 2 Colossus. He's got a bunch of zealots, as well as those stalkers. No upgrades for any of that. Charged zealots will be coming through in the first installment there. He's going to be lifting up a few marauders and diverting. Oh man, here comes the medevac drop. That's going to be spotted by Kelsen, so he at least knows that this is en route, so he knows to pay attention to the back of his base over there. Finally dropping that expo, but again, this is a wee bit too late. That gets delayed by the factory. That's going to force some of Kelsen's units back to force the liftoff of that factory so that he can finally drop that expansion. And again, everything that DDE has been doing this game has just been successfully delaying the expansions. Unfortunately, though, DDE expecting an attack, lifted off his expansion, now realizing that those forces are back here. Feels like he's safe enough to drop it. So a little bit of delay there by DDE, as again, he was expecting a continued push there from Kelsen. But Kelsen forced back because of that factory, and again, now finally able to drop that expansion. DDE safely goes back to mining. Hopefully a transfer of SCVs takes place sometime soon. A bit oversaturated over there. There you go, we'll be pulling back some SCVs. His main's got decent amount of saturation. Coming out with those Vikings right now to prepare to deal with those Colossus once the engagement does come. Charged Zealots are going to be also be seeing those Templar Archives, making that transition into High Templar and or Archons. Level 2 weapons and armor upgrades coming out here for Kelsen. Back over here for DDE, we got 2 weapons, a level 2 armor, just starting researching. Marauder Heavy, Vikings coming out, also getting some air upgrades for those Vikings, allowing him to snipe out those Colossus a bit quicker. Nice responsiveness there by Kelsen. He spots the medevacs coming in, is able to quickly take care of that. We do have a drop coming from the other side though. Kelsen dropping on the third, gonna stim up and try to force a cancel of this expansion. I think he's gonna get it. There it is, forces the cancel. So effective. Bio drop on a building expansion, can snipe it so quickly, especially throwing a few marauders into there. They do a very, very good job of taking out those expos stemmed up. So impressive. DDE drops a deep over here to try to delay any possible expansions from Kelsen. It'd be pretty funny to see him do the same over here. Or the other thing too is he could drop those unfinished engineering bays and cancel them off. That's another thing that you could do as well. That way you still get some of those resources back. You know, once the time finally does come where he spots it, moves down with his forces and tries to take it out. Beautiful drop there from DDE though. Really, really hurting Kelsen and delaying his third, as now DDE has got some hefty saturation over here. Let's take a look at that income. Big advantage going to DDE. Want to take a look at those resources lost as well. You know, DDE is behind in terms of the resources he has lost, but income-wise, he is ahead. And that's certainly going to come into play. We still haven't seen that big engagement though, and that's really going to be a determining factor as to who is going to win this game. But yes, Kelsen is hurting in terms of income. He's also behind on upgrades. 2-2 just about finished, but we got weapons level 3 just now coming out right now for DDE. And he's got armor 2 actually just about finished. So there you have it. He's going to be 2-2 as well, and then 2-3 in a matter of time. Also, the air attack here for these Vikings. Wow, Vikings. He's got a lot of Vikings. Only 3 Colossus in play. Ooh. You gotta be careful about overcommitting to Vikings, and it's a slight concern right now that I have for DDE. I hope that he hasn't built a few too many, making his ground forces a little less potent because he's spent so many resources and so much supply in Vikings. We are seeing that transition into High Templar at the moment. There's also Archons in play. As you can see, 3 Archons at the moment. Psystorm coming out. That's going to allow him to get those High Templar, save up some energy, and land some storms on the bio. I really hope DDE isn't overcommitting to Vikings. He has got more Vikings coming out. This is, again, this is a concern. This is resources that he's spending on anti-air when there aren't a ton of Colossus. He's only got 3. Let's see how this ends up going, though. Get ready for some EMPs. EMPs get laid down, doing a lot of damage to those shields there. Vikings, of course, will be quickly taking out the Colossus. A nice spread here of DDE's forces. But again, because Kelsen doesn't have a lot of Colossus, able to force back DDE, he invested a bit too much in those Vikings. There's no more Colossus in play, nor will there be, as we're going to be seeing some High Templar come out, and he's going to keep up Archons and also allowing himself to do some storm action. Kelsen got a pylon over here, taking that high yield expansion, and you know, DDE, he seemed to be in a very strong position income-wise. He did a lot of great harass, delaying expansions, all sorts of fun stuff like that. But overcommitting the Vikings could have really hurt him, and hopefully it doesn't end up losing him the game. That would be a huge problem for DDE, because he wasn't necessarily out of it before. But oh my gosh, he's got so many Vikings and no air units for them to engage. He's going to be forced to land them, and they're of course not the most effective on the ground. Scan going down as DDE prepares to make this push. And he's going to be spotting that high yield expansion attempt here from Kelsen. Should be forcing the cancel of that. Kelsen's going to get another warp in very, very shortly. Until this pylon over here, that's not going to come into play anytime soon, though. Lots of Zealots, Archons, High Templar, all sorts of fun stuff. Do keep in mind, though, DDE does have Ghosts. He could still land a very effective EMP. Does he? Yeah, he's got 2 Ghosts in play. Wasn't sure if I saw any in the mix there. Yeah, they're somewhere, right? Oh, wow, they're not even there with the main army. Where the heck are they? I have no idea. Yeah, 2 Ghosts building. And 2 Ghosts in play. Why can't I? There they are. They're the 2 Ghosts. I was like, what is going on? I swear they're here. Kelsen gets that high yield expansion up. No more drops coming from DDE. He's prepared to push across the center of the map. There's the scan. Kelsen moving forward to respond. Forces DDE back. DDE stimming up some of those forces there to engage with Kelsen's. Yeah, oh my gosh. Here we go. He's trying to funnel him into that channel. And he needs to be careful because he doesn't want to get stormed there. This is all clumped up in that choke point. That's really pretty much the worst thing that could happen to you. You do not want to get a massive storm laid on your face when you're caught in a choke point. Really, really awful. Zealot heavy right now, plus Archon, plus High Templar. There's a storm actually going on the bio. DDE pulling back a little bit late. Took some pretty massive damage. Zealots charging forward. Archons adding to the splash damage. More storms go down, and DDE getting forced back. And DDE overcommitting to those Vikings, expecting a ton of Colossus. See that transition from Kelsen. DDE forced to call the GG. Unfortunate situation this game for DDE, as he was doing pretty well with harass and delaying expansions, and he had a strong economy. Overcommitting to Vikings when his opponent Kelsen didn't go too much Colossus really, really hurt him. Again, keep in mind that's wasted supply and wasted resources on a unit that's not going to be that effective against anything but Colossus in this matchup. So Kelsen ends up taking the victory. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you like the content, please subscribe. As always, keep watching and keep owning.